Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rainday, and today we are doing something that I think you're going to find very interesting, especially if you're an Apex Legends fan or you know this man's name. Now, there's a reason you would know this man's name, and let me play the video because it'll explain it a lot better. Recently, we covered exactly what he did that put him in the trending on Twitter and on the internet world. Let's go ahead and listen to this. My God, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. iiTzTimmy did a 54-hour stream. Yeah, 54 hours. I'm tired after 4 hours, and he did it from solo queuing, going from bronze to predator in Apex Legends, one of the hardest FPS games in the world right now, by himself. And the numbers do not lie. This is one of the most impressive feats anyone has seen on Twitch ever. Over the course of the stream, he not only averaged over hundreds of thousands of views, peaked at over 148,000 viewers, but gained nearly 12,000 new subs in 54 hours, meaning that he made anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 in that period. Moreover, he even ran ads on this amount of average viewers, meaning that it's possible he cleared more than $50,000 to $100,000 in that stream. And what was most impressive? He didn't rage at all. But hey, if anybody's making $50,000 playing Apex Legends for 2 days, I might not rage either. I might be happy as a mug. Happy as a mug, indeed. And in fact, this is just the beginning. What Timmy ended up doing with that is he's now over 18,000 subscribers, making anywhere between $36,000 all the way up to potentially $50,000 a month. And that's on the low end with those numbers and being a potentially preferred partner on Twitch. But why is he so good, and why do people want to watch him? Well, it's because his gameplay is flawless. And we're going to break it down today. I thought that a lot of you guys would also want to know that he put this into a movie. If you want me to react to this, or at least go through this in my own way, cut out some of the best parts, it's already got 1.8 million views of what he did during that time. You can check it out. And I thought Timmy would be a great person to watch because most of you are looking to get better, but most of you have already realized that you've hit the ceiling of knowing how to play Apex, which is what I usually teach people. But since I cast, I feel like Timmy is a great higher level mentor to look at and explain his gameplay. And I watched this game and I said, I have to do a video on this because Timmy does some incredible things I think you guys need to know. So without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to break down these moments and teach you as the best I can what's so special about his gameplay and why it's so successful. And hopefully you guys can apply some of it here. So this is Olympus, and he's starting to drop into an initial fight. One huge thing there is he gets the one clip. Without the one clip, that makes this fight a lot harder because he's got another player, even if it's 11 health, that he's got to fight there. He makes 2 one-on-ones, and he goes immediately for the finish, which is not efficient weapon-wise, but he's got an EVA 8. And this is going to allow him to be a lot more successful in these early game fights. Now, notice what just happened here. A lot of us are on the back foot when we land, and that's one thing that I think Timmy does. And we're going to introduce something I saw in a video I absolutely loved. And I forgot this creator's name, but I know a lot of people use the notepad. But I want to use the notepad because I'm auditory. I hear myself. I love it, but you guys might be visual. So we're going to go into writing some of these notes down. What Timmy does is his always on. Timmy, he is always on the next step. And I think what this means is that he is aware of what to do next, even when he's completely committed to what he's doing. Action plan in the future, always back of mind. This is kind of like, let's call it like the Doctor Strange phenomenon, right? Where you see iiTzTimmy is constantly looking at what to do next, even though he's in the middle of chaos and craziness in Apex Legends. And most players are just trying to survive in the moment. What makes these huge 20 bombs, these 9,000 damage games possible is that you're moving into your next stage of the fight while you're in your current stage. Essentially, you're predicting someone's movements or predicting the lobby, the macro game ahead of time. And this allows you to make better decisions in your fight because you're thinking about what might happen no matter how this current fight works out. But you're also doing little things like immediately saying, all right, I know there's shots over there. I just finished my fight, got my shield swap. I'm already moving over there. And that allows him to continue to apply pressure. And he gets basically a knock just from that. Now, he's got no R99 ammo left, but he does have an EVA 8, and he recognizes that. He goes for a little bit more ammo and checks for light, but there's no light here. And it comes into another big aspect of what he does. Beautiful wall bounce, not needed, but allows him to clear that area. And again, right now, he's just looking to fight with this EVA, which he's doing extremely well. Now, notice he's under the gun, and this is another thing that Timmy does. We'll break it down. I want you to see how he manages this moment, because that's an armor swap right there. So he realizes someone's chasing him. He goes in, and he gets behind cover, and he armor swaps, so that player pushes him in a predictable pattern. And what's amazing is that those shots were actually missed.
He's dancing.
But what's amazing, because you could see this guy bled out. I think that his teammate killed him. But what was amazing about that one specifically was he was very, very, very good. And you'll see this with Timmy a lot. Knowing when to stop fighting. This is something you will see come into play. I'm going to bring this in, but watch again with Timmy. He is a master at knowing when the fight does not work in his favor and just moving into a defensive stance or running away. Basically re-engaging when necessary.
I don't think anyone would be Oasis with how the path was.
Now, obviously, Timmy's movement is great. We all know that. Any high-level player is going to know how to move in this game. You're going to see tap strafing. You're going to see, or at least while it's here, you're going to see wall bounces. You're going to see a lot of different things like that. But most importantly, just good positioning. And here we have the Rampage, which is kind of where he starts to do a lot of damage in this game. Oh, this is great. See, this is one of the reasons why I think Timmy is so successful, is that, and high-level players, they know exactly how to not get hit. Look at the health bar here of Timmy, and look at how much damage he does to this player. He shoots the horizon, the teammate Octane gets a little excited, and then they jump over. Look at what happens here. Timmy can see him now. He's in the air. So Timmy's knowing, okay, I get my shield bat off. This is how much health he has. You could say he's got about 85, 90 shield, something around that area. 100 shield, right, going into the potentially 25 for a full Evo. He does 39 off the rip, hits about 84. He does about 150 damage to that player, partially because of the headshot coming in, but only takes about 50 in damage. And so that crouching that he's doing here, his movement, I talk about this all the time. Great players know Apex isn't about doing damage. It's about avoiding damage. No fight that you're in, if you avoid more damage than the other person, and you give more damage than you take, you lose unless you get, double teamed. So this is what Timmy and great players know. You're going to see a reliance on crouching here and moving left, right, crouch again, and even taking away this little moment here where he kind of goes out of ADS for half a second, just to give him a little bit more movement speed. You get more speed when you ADS. It changes up the way that you look to an enemy. Really, really helpful for him. So, again, that fight was not won through aim. He did a lot of damage, but it was more so won by being able to not get hit. And this is a great perspective, too. He sees the third teammate we already talked about. He's already ready for that one. And he starts to run, but look, oh, talk about it. I mean, he's got to rewind that one. That was beautiful. He sees him coming up. He goes and climbs on the right side of the wall. Now that he knows he's committed, and he gets a nice little slide. He gains some momentum off of slide jumping on that, which you can do. If you jump up onto a ledge, you'll gain some momentum. Again, movement tech is top tier. Let's just throw this in here, obviously. Top tier situational movement.
Wait, this might not be the move.
All right. So now, this is where stuff starts to get really interesting, because Timmy, great players have this dynamic of needing to kind of lead the charge while also not die, because if they die, their teammates can't really help support them. However, Timmy is so good that pretty much any fight he goes into, there's a good chance he's going to win, and that will mean that they'll snowball, because the other two players on his team just are shooting for free. Everyone's focused on Timmy. So he takes this to create a moment. And I think this is one of the things leading to one of the bigger things he does. I want you to watch this clip. He's getting shot all the way. He jumps off. He's right behind him with the rampage. And he's going to go quickly finish that off. He's got a shield swap if he needs. And as you guys saw, he's already on to the next one. Always looking to the next one. And it's minor. It's probably worth showing, though. But there. This is, look at this. Look at this. So he's finishing. He did this here in this last one. He shoots. Look at that swap. It happens in an instant. But he immediately 180s. And why? Why does he 180 like that? Always on the next step. He's aware of what to do next. We saw not really a no one to stop fighting, but we really are seeing number one come into play. And being willing to be in that position as the leader means you have to be ready. I mean, he shot a rock. He didn't even know what was there, but he knew there was a player in that approximate area. Uses the Pathfinder zip line to move. He knows there's a chase, sees the Octane jump pad. He clears space right, here's left.
What's up?
Oh, and he gets the pull. And that's just, I mean, there's just nothing better than that. This is something that Timmy will do quite often. He will use Pathfinder specific movement, and Pathfinder specifically to oppress his and confuse his opponents. And the grapple, the get over here scorpion move is one of the biggest ones. You'll see this in many of his videos. It works really well because it catches most players off guard, especially when you're not expecting it, because it's audacious and it allows him to succeed. Now, one thing that I want to say very, very clearly is everything that Timmy is doing here cannot be done without this loadout. Now, it can be done in a certain way, but one of the big things to know, guys, is the weapons that Timmy is using are crucial for this fighting style. I want you to watch with this tip in mind now. We'll bring it back and I'll explain, because this is where many of you go wrong and why you're not getting these results that Timmy's getting.
Friends.
Couple of nice shots from the rampage here, which is a great weapon. I mean, Timmy's showing exactly why this weapon is so strong. Good intentional tracking. Confident players, I think in moments like this, confident players right here. So he's getting shot. Confident players, he's already looking to the next one. You know, instead of moving, they might just try to shoot back an ego. And Timmy, again, really clear. He knows when to stop fighting, knows when to take cover. Cover's a priority, not getting hit. Now that I have a better angle on you, I have the vision of where you're coming from. Now I'm going to start fighting. And I've done more damage to you than you've done to me. And he's going to push that damage. There's no way a player thinks that player up there that I'm shooting at is going to do this to me, and that is exactly why it's so successful with Timmy. He has the skill to back it up, but he also has the firepower when he gets there. Again, looking at the value of this long range, mid-range that the Rampage can bring, and the finishing potential of the Evade. Again, takes a little bit of damage. Timmy right back under cover. 7 squads left, 13 kills. He's on 2,500 damage here. And it looks like he's trying to get maybe the 3 times, but doesn't want it yet.
Oh my god!
Incredible.
Oh no.
Situational awareness, knowing that's exactly where
I'm reducing
the player was going to be, and that there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough chaos so that would be putting himself at risk. I know a lot of people who will grapple into a fight, and they'll be totally off guard, no movement skill. And this brings us back into game sense and understanding what the next step is, having a macro sense of the game.
I stick these.
And notice, he senses someone down there. That's the first time we've seen Timmy use grenades. So if you, again, this is a breakdown. I know I'm stopping a lot, but I feel like you guys are going to hopefully get this. And we'll touch on these weapons one more time. But how little ordinances are leaned on for Timmy showcase his prowess with game sense and movement execution. I think for me, what I notice the most is that because I play a lot, I throw a lot of grenades. I love grenades. I love moving people with grenades. I think maybe some of you are like that as well. I really do lean on having a bunch of grenades. It feels good, especially towards the late games. In a pub situation, no, you don't necessarily need it. But I think what Timmy showcases here with just seeing that one grenade is that when you're relying on grenades, you sometimes shift your playstyle into being less effective in pushing opponents when you should. You throw a grenade instead of actually leaning on your own ability to go finish with an EVA 8. And that is just something to consider. All right, let's keep watching. And he's going to push this. He knows he's done damage. Oh, he gets the pull. Unfortunate, though. Kind of rubs off against the wall. Timmy immediately goes away.
No way.
Unfortunately, got Seer interrupted there. And so he's actually full retreating. And this is what I think you guys should realize. All these top-tier players, these frag-oriented players, know exactly when to stop fighting. He sets that up for a retreat for his teammates. He also sets that up for maybe a bait, so people will look at that. And he sets it up for a getaway because he wants to get aggressive here. So if he needs to get out, he's got that second piece of movement.
Yeah, actually did.
And he's using the enemy shield there. That enemy trying to protect themselves. They're actually protecting Timmy. And he's going to swing into the chaos here. And again, want to be very, very clear. This is a huge part of what Timmy is doing so well. Let's keep watching. He's going to look to finish there.
Yeah.
And then wall bounce. This is a big one. He's got 70 health, by the way. Look at this. Look at this. This fight, this moment. How many of you would have basically just left at this point? You've got a lot of your shield taken off. You've been in the fight this whole time. The L-Star beams you. Look, he's got 70 health to his name. He starts to run. I'm thinking he's out.
Yeah.
Nope. Wall bounce, tap straight into a one-on-one. And part of the reason he's so successful is that is A, he's using cover with this generator. So he doesn't have to use the cover, but if it starts to get bad, he has that to the left side. The Watson's out in the open. He's got nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. There's two people fighting, so he feels very confident about that. But most importantly, and this is, I think, a huge one that you guys want to incorporate into your game, committing. Hey, I know, commit. Dude, commitment is always my hardest thing. Right. Commit. Okay, how about this? It's a hard thing to spell for me, whatever reason. I always get caught up in the double M's or T's. But it's also one of those things that's hard to do in real life. It's hard to do in Apex. I know a lot of people don't want to commit. People not getting married right now, staying in relationships are tough. Dating is wild and crazy, and all the apps, swipe left, swipe right, hook up and get out of here. But committing is very, very valuable. And the reason you need to commit is because, number two, knowing when to stop fighting is one of the things you see Timmy do the most. But that's a commitment. It's committing to not fight anymore. And when you commit to fight, that's committing to go all in. Because if you're risking it all on the flip of a dice or a flip of a coin, and you have to stay until that coin lands. You can't leave halfway and hope that it would have worked out, but be out if it doesn't and back in if it does. You're not going to get the prize money or whatever's at the end of that because they'll say you kind of pulled out. You weren't really officially there. You didn't put your money or whatever it is on the line. And I think when you see players like this, they tend to be confident enough to make a mistake based on their bad judgment. I liked this the other day. I was watching a debate with someone who was a professor, and they said, listen, I can't fault the fact that there could be some possibility down the line that I screw up because of this stance I'm taking. It does potentially have problems that I'll have to face legally, but I'm confident enough in my own judgment that I'll make the right decisions most of the time that won't really be an issue. So I lean on my own ability, and that's where I think committing is important. Now, you don't have to have the best ability to commit. I've had a video where I did 30 days of playing like Shroud. This is one of my tips that I had in that video. It's a really interesting video. I think it's like 30 minutes long. But this is one of the things, and you notice it immediately. When you commit to a fight, you commit to the 1v3, you commit to whatever you're doing in Apex or in life, you find out that you get real information. And maybe you die, but you learn. maybe you win, you learn another big thing as well. And this is what Timmy knows about himself. He's confident enough to make a mistake based on his own judgment because he trusts himself. He trusts himself. Commitment basically comes down to trust. Trusting of yourself.
Using my Phoenix skin.
All right. So,
Yup.
2 squads
I
left.
don't know what happened, but yup.
Rampage, Eva 8, going crazy.
Contact.
He hears people above him, pings for his teammates. Obviously, he's playing by himself, essentially, but he needs to keep communicating, and the ping system in Apex is fantastic for that. He's got his vision out because he knows someone is hearing this zip line, so he's immediately ready to fight. Oh, Seer goes in, and he actually Pathfinders over it. Gets the knock on the Eva. Finally tries to find some of these shots here. It's 2 people, potentially. Oh, no, it's 3. And he realizes it, and look at this. Just careful movement. I'm getting away. I've got the pressure. I don't want to stop fighting, but now they're not even looking at me, and this should be the GG's. Timmy looking to drop down and find it. The other player has dropped as well, and that's it. That's the champion. That's the play from Timmy. And let me just say this real quick, guys, to finish this video off. It's a great showcase of what Timmy can do, but these weapons here are crucial for what he just did. A lot of my people need to put down the snipers. I know Nice Wig has you going for him. I love the longbow myself, but Timmy can't pull this playstyle off with a sniper in his hand. He can't really pull it off with a lot of variety of weapons, even though he has done it in many of his videos to where, yeah, this might be the moment that it happens. He's so skilled, he can kind of get over these normal barriers. But most people need to understand that you need some type of valuable main damage pressure weapon, i.e., let's see, for example, e.g. R301, R99, or what we saw here, Rampage, and a wingman can go with that too. You could substitute a lot of guns that fill in that role, but you also need a finisher pressure gun, and that typically goes into a shotgun. And this is why you will see a lot of players not be so successful so consistently. Second weapon needs to finish and be able to keep pressure on for strong pushes and downs. This is why the sniper is not really available here, because that longbow couldn't finish off all these players he's got 180 damage on. He has to Pathfinder swing in, use that Eva, and stay oppressive, stay so that they have to fight. They can't run, otherwise they'll just die. And this combo is really what you need. You could be mixing it up, but I would say don't try to mix it up as much, because ultimately, yeah, it might be more boring, but it will be successful. Here are some rules. If you guys want to see me do a bigger video on Timmy or a more concise video, I'm going to keep watching a little bit of what he does. And if there's any other player you want a video of me to go and commentate or to analyze, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be looking out for some suggestions. And if I do this again, I'll take one of your suggestions in the comments. So make sure to leave a comment there. My later gang, as I know a lot of YouTubers like to call it. What's up? And thank you guys for watching till the end of the video. Leave a like and subscribe. It's the best way to support, and show some love to Timmy. Great stuff. Thank you, Timmy, for putting out great Apex content, man. All right, guys, as always, never give up, never stop gaming. Hope you learned something, and I will see you all next time.